At first, scientists thought it may just have been the result of the population rising inexorably. They'd simply overexploited resources like the seabirds. But then they found evidence that there'd been something else. Something so devastating that it would change Easter Island forever, trapping the population in a terrible cycle of starvation and warfare. When Westerners first arrived on Easter Island, they noticed that there were no trees. Yet almost every other island in the Pacific was covered in forest. An island without trees didn't make sense. How had the islanders moved their statues? How had they made canoes to catch fish? The solution to this riddle came from the bottom of a lake. For thousands of years, layers of mud had been building up. Mixed up in the mud was pollen from the island's plants. It was this pollen that held the secret of Easter Island's past vegetation. The man who dug it up was John Flenley. To begin with, he examined pollen from the most recent layers of mud.
So we started analysing the samples from the top downwards. And the uppermost ones had just grass pollen, exactly what we'd expect because that's what dominates the island today.
Grass pollen is very distinctive. It's round with a pore at one end surrounded by a ring.
But then, a little way down, we started to find another kind of pollen grain, quite different in appearance.
This pollen was elongated, with a slit running all down its side. It was the pollen of a palm tree. And there was so much of it, Flenley realized that the island must once have been completely covered in palm trees. So what had happened to them? Again, the clue was in the timing. The trees had disappeared at the very time the statues had been abandoned and warfare had begun. It was then that scientists began to put together an extraordinary theory. The cause of this great disaster had been the statues themselves.